All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of we affectionately call the Perfecting Your Craft podcast. I'm Dearest Craig. I'm here with my good friends Darian Castillo and Sister, otherwise known as Brittany Jones. We're going to be kind of picking up where we left off on our last session, and I think it's going to be really cool because kind of dive more into identity, but from a different perspective of just talking about your origin story. A lot of the things that you maybe dealt with growing up, whether it was positive or negative, and how that shaped you into the creative that you. I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves again. Just tell us a little bit about who you are and what your way, what you do.
Hi, I'm Darian, and I have a business called Before the Blow Up, and I help promote artists. We do showcases, and I do interviews, um, and we're literally just networking and helping each other in as many ways as we can.
Okay, sister.
Hi, I'm Brittany, otherwise known as Sister, and I'm creating a brand called Sister Affirmations. And it's really just to inspire women to empower themselves through affirmations. And really, I've lately just been inspired to that my whole life become just an affirmation of well-being and representing generational wholeness and wellness. And I'm so excited that one of the ways that I want to represent that for myself and to inspire women is through a meditation affirmation album. So
That's awesome. And one of the things that I've learned, me personally, through my experiences being a musician and now a producer and engineer, is that there are certain times where we will see that our experiences and things that we're most passionate about often feed into our purpose and often feed into what we do as creatives and how we see the world. So I'll give you an example of what I know for me. My family is very musical. My family, I would say a good majority of my family sings and plays instruments. So as I was growing up, even though I didn't really know at the time right away that I wanted to be a musician, it took me a long time to discover that. But there was always music going in our house, especially on Sunday mornings. We would be having like through the house while we were getting ready for church, or Saturday mornings when we were cleaning up the house. There was always music going, whether it's gospel music, somebody else might be rebellious and play some other stuff, but it was just a constant musical atmosphere. I had certain video games that I would play, and I just love to listen to the soundtrack in those video games. And that was kind of just feeding my ears, feeding my experiences as loving music and having a passion for music. So can you guys kind of tell me things that you noticed about even when you were younger that kind of let you know maybe what it was that you wanted to do as you got older?
Oh man,
Whoever wants to start.
I'll start.
okay.
As a kid, honestly, I was a pop music girl. Like, yes, I was the 5-year-old singing Mary J. Blige. I'm not sure how I was listening to these things, but I was. And no, I absolutely loved
Hmm.
music when I was a kid, and I just remembered um, after seeing like a Britney Spears Pepsi commercial, I wanted to like create my own thing. And so then I started thinking of like visuals and things like that, and I really loved music, and I started writing music as not writing because I couldn't even write, but I was making up songs and things like that. In my early childhood, they were the never-ending songs, like just constantly singing. They had no hooks or whatever, but I just remember like I just sang whatever came to my head. Um, and I did grow up with my mom. She actually sang in the church, so going to practice with her and actually being a part of, a church where you just it was just musical, all day every day. We listened to the Mississippi Mass Choir too. Don't get me wrong, that was my oh, I love their their music.
Right.
Even the kids had a choir, so I was inspired by that. And my mom could sing, so me and my siblings, like, I had two older sisters, and we nonstop, like, sang all
Mhm.
throughout the house. We just sang, and then, like, I could make up a song about anything. It was never ending. Like, dearest, when we did chores, you knew that we're about to do chores because my mom is blasting that 90s music, and you can smell a little bit of bleach. And so you wake up not to
Mhm.
bacon and coffee or bacon and orange juice, but you wake up to the smell of some cleaner, and but you
Right.
hear the music. So it was like
Mhm.
constant music, and I was a constant singer. um
Mhm.
so yeah, that was that was definitely when I was like, Mom, I wanted to be a Disney Channel kid. So, they sing and dance and they act. And I was like, I want to do
Right.
that. That was where I kind of started knowing, I knew that I wanted to be in entertainment in some way.
Mhm. No, that was dope. Sister, what about you?
So for me, affirmations, of course, are all about words, and I've um, always enjoyed poetry. Growing up, you remember like the UIL academic competitions. I did like the writing and the poetry. I've always been inspired. My mom was a big Oprah fan. And so
Mhm.
she would always have Oprah playing, and Oprah was always saying, those live your best life and talking about wellness and wholeness. And so I just think those, as far as being introduced to poetry and the ready writing and writing a lot in school, and then hearing Oprah talk about ways to live your best life and um, really how to influence yourself to be better. And actually, her being an African American woman on television talking about those things and ways for us to um, better really inspired me. And also, just as I got older and things, I guess I really found my way into other ways. There are new, as far as ways to inspire myself. There's a she's an author now. I think her name is Layla, maybe mispronounced it, Layla Delia.
Mhm.
But she has a book called Vibrate Higher Daily, and that really helped me um, really get inspired to create affirmations. She writes affirmations. Her book has affirmations in it after several chapters. And so, really, that's how I got started onto where I am now, as far as then and now.
Right. So I'm gonna approach it today as if we're talking about, a real superhero movie or, some type of any good movie, really. There's always something that's happening. You have a starting point, maybe where things start to unfold, and then somewhere down the line, as maybe it's a child superhero, as they get older, they start running into challenges as they're learning how to embrace the gift that they have, the passion that they have, but something presents a challenge to them as they're trying to do. So I'm gonna start with you, Darian. What were some challenges that you found that you faced as you were trying to grow into your voice, both musically and as a creative and business person that you are now?
um I would say, so I've always been strong in creativity and like problem solving and figuring out, like, if there's a will, there's a way. That's kind of like how I've always been. But I think the blocker, or something that stopped me, is insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like as my musical voice, singing, I definitely was not allowing people to hear my voice. I actually, in public, because I couldn't stop myself from singing, I would hum. So instead of singing, you could hear me humming, and it's just like, um, it was weird because, like, yeah, I could turn it on and off. Like when I'm in public or if I'm in front of family, see, I just kind of was insecure. And so, yeah, I missed out on a lot of opportunities because of that. And then also my need to, like, I had a need to get permission. So if it was something that I didn't need permission for, it would be like, okay, I have to find somebody, and if they approve of it, then I can do it. If they don't approve of it, then I won't do it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when I came into like making music and things like that, like as I got older, I was just, I literally would let that stop me. And so I didn't even know why, but that was my thing. Like, if somebody didn't give me permission to do it, I can't do it because,
Mm-hmm.
I was scared. Um, and so as a business owner now, it's like, uh, I feel like a rebel because, yeah, no, there were people that were like, no, don't do that, or you need to, you need to do this first, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can do that. Just certain different things. And now I'm like, I think I've got past that point because now I'm just like, no, I'm actually doing it this way. Like even as far as getting a business structure, like you don't need to get an LLC, da 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 da. So like those type of things, listening to other people, taking advice from people who don't even understand what I'm trying to do, and then my insecurities.
Yeah, no. And you brought up an excellent point with that. You were your own worst enemy. You wouldn't let
Mhm.
yourself be great. And then
No.
you also put the power in other people to determine what you
Yeah.
did with your gift. And both of those can be extremely detrimental.
Horrible.
And before I give my perspective on that, what I dealt with, I'll let sister go first before me.
So I think I just dealt with when is the time. Well, not just like, oh, it's not the perfect time, or I kept waiting to be ready, but also with all of these ideas, for me, affirmations can, there's so many categories for affirmations. As far as, you see them on products, you hear people speaking affirmations, you see people writing books about affirmations. So for me, I've I've had obstacles of just where to start, and I know I hear that all the time. Well, just start, So I've, for years, just had so many creative ideas, business ideas for women regarding affirmations. And I really just didn't know, I guess, what was the first project or what was my lane, and how to really get that gift out to the world. Aside from, I guess, could I handle the calling that I felt was placed on my life for affirmations? And so I guess it was a bit of, as Darian said, confidence areas too. But to me, it may have been a little bit of the confidence and also lack of, I don't know if it was a lack of organizing, but just of, well, I know I'm called to do this and I have all these ideas. So what's the first thing that I should do? Because oftentimes I see people and they have their hands in so many things and then like nothing gets accomplished, or it just seems to be all over the place. And I never wanted to represent myself in that way um, either. So
No, I told for me, I would say, um, I think some of the challenges that I dealt with, it was partially insecurity within myself. Am I good enough? I had a really bad issue of comparison, and it's kind of common within the I won't even just say the music industry, but even creative industry. We see other people doing what we're trying to do or what we have done, and we're just like, well, I think I'm better than that person, or I want to be I don't think I'm as good as this person. And what it does, it distorts our view of ourselves and our self-esteem as far as what we actually do. And it just puts us in a place of like we have no we have no compass because all we're doing is measuring ourselves by other people who are at different places of life, different places in their God given talent. But even comparing to say, well, I have a different level of ability than this person, what does that help you? What does that help you to say, well, this person is more talented than me, this person is less talented than me? It any and I've always tried to kind of hold myself to a standard of I'm always in competition with myself. How can I get better? I have to put blinders on so I'm not paying attention to the people around me because even as people love to say, there's only one you. There's nobody else in the world with your fingerprint. There's nobody else in the world with your DNA. There's something uniquely that God placed in you, regardless of whether you feel like it's really, oh, well, it's what I have is small, and you just never know when something that's placed in has the ability to touch people. So, before I get too far down that rabbit hole, I do want to ask, again, kind of going from the same order, what's your epiphany light bulb moment of like, I really think I can do this, where things shifted, things changed. It's kind of like, what was that like for you, Darian?
Oh, um, I think it was a couple of different times. So, um, but one thing I can remember is just I don't know, it was just a shift in everything. Like the opportunity and space were there, and I literally had no limits to when it came to my business starting before the blow up. And actually, first of all, I figured out like, okay, I didn't know I had this passion, and then I didn't know what to do with it, but I knew that was interested in just encouraging others and helping others who had a dream of becoming an artist. And so when the opportunity kind of just arose, like it felt like the floodgates opens because I'm not kidding. I would not leave where we went to school. I would not leave Media Tech until 2 a.m. I would get there early, or I would get there on time for my class, and then I would be there for the rest of the night, interviewing people for like 30 seconds a piece. And when it finally clicked for me, it was like, okay, now I have the funds, because sometimes it's like, okay, I don't have the budget for this, I don't have the budget for that. I really didn't need a budget for what I was doing. So I was doing that, but then also I had an idea to do more. And so finally I had the budget to do more. And so I don't know, I just took that opportunity and I made sure, like, I wanted to make the most of that. And then um, I knew I took that business serious when I just said, okay, I need to make sure that I have a big business structure, because this is locked in for life. I'll get it tattooed on my arm. Like, this is what I want to do. This is my business. This is my baby, and I'm gonna stick to it. And on top of that, I'm gonna see it through. But I know that this is gonna be something amazing, um, because it was just like everybody was like, you do that? That is so cool. Like, no, there wasn't one person that I met that I was like, hey, can I interview you? That was just like, no, like, who are you? No, they were excited. And I don't know, that just gassed me up. Just feeling like, I could feel how it made other people feel. And so that was like, okay, I was able to make this into a real business and not just something that I just did for fun.
We're live, y'all. This is real life. So sorry, I'm a mom also. So let me here. Okay. Uh, I'm gonna bring all of me and stop trying to be perfect. It's okay. So, so for me, oh, Darian, are you finished before I answer?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. And thank you for sharing that. And I guess that's how you know when you say they say you don't really recognize time when you're really in your passion or your calling. So for you to say that you stayed after class up until 2 or 3 in the morning, it was I'm sure a big light bulb moment for you.
Yes.
Um, Dearest, can you hear us? Okay. So for me, I think for me, after reading certain books and stuff, like I said, and I also forgot to mention like Iyanla Vanzant has a book called Get Over It. And in that book, it has affirmation passages for you to read. And so for me, affirmations have just represented, self care and self healing. And I've used it for both. And at different times, whatever was going on in my life, I needed it. I went through, I think, healing from childhood things that I went through. Um, I, I used affirmations, in but also in my adult life, I was going through a rough time in my marriage, just to be fully transparent. And I literally started, so I was reading all these affirmations, and finally something clicked one day, and I just started writing my own. And before I knew it, my bathroom mirror and my dresser mirror in my bedroom had post-its of about 50 affirmations on each. And it just came, and I just wrote all those affirmations, and I would practice them, and I would not take them down until I felt like certain storms that I was going through, um, left. And I felt like, okay, well, what happened here? Like, wow, there was really some power in. I would have these morning rituals of saying all those affirmations, and it really built inner strength, in me. And so, and once I went through all that, I said, well, I have something here in terms of I wanted other women to be able to teach, to not only to introduce this to them if they hadn't heard of about practicing affirmations, but if they had, well, for one, that because that's what I it was life changing for me to practice those affirmations. And I really wanted to get the word out to other women like, hey, this worked for me. I'm not sure what, worked for what will or won't work for you, but try this because I tried it. And it got me through a lot of those valley moments in life, you know. And so, and also I helped, those affirmations helped heal me through things that I had been carrying, from childhood. And then that was maybe multiplying into my adult life. Um, and so, but the creative part of me, then I wanted to create more affirmations for women and to really turn it into art, And so that's what the love for poetry from my childhood came in, and also the love of music because we all, as you said, cleaning up or going to church or just riding in the car, we listen to music. We like to exercising, and I wanted to bring the world of words and music and combine that with the intention of self healing and self care um, for the affirmation. So that was my that. So for me, I think that's when I had the aha moment once I personally had felt like I had survived some storms or had self healed through affirmations and got stronger. But also then the creative part, because that's really our culture, right? Music and poetry, and I just that was the aha moment of like, you know what, this really fueled me. And I was tired of, living a life where I really wasn't. It was the first time I think I was actually fueled by like a passion. Like I really feel passionate about this. Even though I was working a successful job in a successful career field, just to be honest, I wasn't just overwhelmingly passionate about it. And I would just think about those affirmations all the time or just be so thankful, for the affirmations. And each time I took one down that I felt like, okay, I'm going to keep it and inspire someone else, but I no longer need it. I was just still so grateful for the affirmations and the art of it. So I think that was my aha moment of like, I really need to turn this into something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's totally understandable. And honestly, that's one of those things that we really try to get all of the things that are going on in our life. And it can be something that hinders our creativity, hinders our the things that we do, or we can use it as fuel to push us forward. And I'm just going to give an example of something that I dealt with. It was a few different things. I think being a female in what is considered to be like a male dominant industry, which is not, I won't even industry is male dominated, but being a musician, being a producer, being an engineer, there's not as many females that do those things. And I've had to deal with just over the entire time I've been alive, people who put down what I did, or they were intimidated by what I did because obviously, with there being less females, what I do attracts more attention at times. So there are often times where you'll have this issue of just, I really want to be considered as an equal among other peers. And then there's also the flip side of it too. You just want to be able to um, be respected for what you do and not be judged as, I know of other female musicians have said it, they're good for a girl or they're good for a female. And it just kind of sets up all these standards of, you feel like you're trying to constantly battle. And I've even, to this day, I still have those moments of frustration. And it was funny to me because oftentimes what I will find when I have those periods of frustration, just like Brittany said, she used her motivation from the things she was dealing with to want to create an album. I actually told a bunch of my female musician sisters the other, I really want to do a compilation album of all of these female musicians that I know that are excellent at what they do. And we're just going to like all female band. And some people was like, I mix, I master, I want to help. And it was just like an overwhelming response. It's a large group, but everyone was excited about the idea. So, one thing that I've learned in my life, if there are certain things like pain points, I say, that you're struggling with and that you're dealing with, oftentimes those are the main areas that you need to look at and see if God is trying to pull out of you or birth out of you from that experience. So, the next thing I want to talk about is one thing I've learned is, with that being said, there are certain things that God will give us. It's not just for us to use the gifts for ourselves, but for us to use them to help other people. So again, each of us kind of going and talking about, what did that look like for you, where you saw that what you were doing was not just making you feel good, something you enjoyed, but you were also feeling like you were making an impact on someone else.
Well, okay. So, um, I, like you said, you were like, sometimes God, and it's not for you. And I feel like, 9 times out of 9, that if you have a gift, it's definitely to be shared, because I sat on a lot of gifts and it was just like, I didn't suffer for it, but I know someone else did, because you're called to help other people. There's a group of people that are assigned to you. So, um, yeah, that's a fact. But when I started doing the interviews and the show, it was like, I kid you not, just the support that I got from other people, and it's just so many different ways. It was, I think it's overwhelming, because even at this small state that my business has been in, it's just like, wow, you guys want to help me? Like, what? Okay. But it's also, I feel like they saw the vision of where I was going with it. And so for them to see the vision was awesome. And I'll get to the point. A lot of the times when people have supported me in doing my business, because I can't do anything on my own. So the people that I have had help me, when we get together and we do things, whether it's an interview, whether it's a showcase, I literally get messages, and I started to do, um, I started to have, event coordinators, or not coordinators, but representatives, go out on my behalf and just support local artists. And so for them, it just feels like I get messages that's just like so heartfelt. Like this was probably the most support they've gotten in a while or ever. And for interviews and things like shows, I still get messages, and I feel like, oh, I was just doing something to just do it, just it was just I thought it would be fun. No, this actually helped somebody. So like literally everything that I have done, I just I don't know, it just makes me feel like I don't know, it's like fuel when I get those messages, like how it helped them, how they feel so supported, how they feel so loved. So yeah, if I would have just not done my business according to other people's idea of like what I should do, um, I would have missed out on that, and they would have missed out on that. Those people that have been a part of what I've done, who have gained something, whether it just feels like somebody's on your side, like you're not alone, because it's kind of like every man for himself when you become an artist. Um, so yeah, when it comes to um, yeah, when it comes to getting feedback from my events, my showcases, and interviews, it's just you can tell that it's actually helping other people. So that's honestly that's what kept me going and what is keeping me going too.
So for me, just what's keeping me going. One time I was praying about these affirmations because I was like, God, again, like I have all these ideas. Where do I go? What do I do first? Um, and I turned to the Bible, and it was just a random flipping of the pages, and the verse came up about speak and hold not thy peace, for I have much need in the city. And so it's more to that verse, but and so I was like, okay, I have permission from God. And then that was like a really emotional moment for me. So that was number one, and then two, I know that when you really make a decision to do something, God will really present connections, or gift you with, I guess so, connections, and doors will start opening, and life will just support your decision once you really make that solid decision. So that's one way. I mean, I never dreamed that I would meet either of you. So, just along this journey. So that's helped keep me going. And now I post, I create reels sometimes now, and or just regular posts, and women, well, they'll like it, or something, and or they'll say, "Well, keep going," or "I'm proud of you." But and one time, a woman was actually vulnerable enough to say, "I'm doing my own healing work, my self healing. Thank you for this." So I just think for me, just knowing that people suffer in silence a lot, and even if no one, you know, um, validates you or your post, or the work that you are doing, I just have this fundamental belief in my core that I'm helping someone. And each time, before I post, or before I record, I'll say, this is not about me. And, I try to have sometimes the perfect look, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's not even about how I look. I try to represent myself well, but I really want this to help someone. So, that's always my intention. So I think my intention is what continues to drive me, along with what I felt like was the permission from God, was like, okay, so I'm gonna speak. And then I have that intention, and I just continue to carry it on.
So, and I had to pull up a message came back to me that I've received, and I've gotten a few messages like this since I started making music. And whenever I get messages, it just makes me like want to break down. Just from the standpoint of like, people, when people reach out to you and tell you that something touched them so deeply, and it's just crazy because when you put something out, you're just like, okay, I really like, it has a good message, but I'm just putting out. music, or I'm just putting out spoken word. I'm putting out something. So I'm just gonna read really quick a message that I got from someone after one of my songs that I wrote was put out. And so basically, I just wanted to message you and tell you what a blessing it is to have met you. I've been going through so much, and I feel like I can't catch up with my problems. And sometimes I feel like giving up. But thanks to all the gospel music that you share on Facebook, I've been able to push through. You introduced me to and start naming songs that was associated with, and a bunch of other songs that have just straight up pulled my spirit out of the pit of depression and gave me hope. I just want to say thank you because even if you don't know, you're saving people's lives and such a huge blessing. Thank you for all the music you share. It's just been a breath of fresh air. And then basically say, please don't stop writing music and playing it because every time I listen to it, I just start to cry with so much relief. And I just couldn't go another day without telling you that God is using it in such a big way. Like, I'm not kidding. You saved my life. And I know God has allowed me to meet you for this very reason. Thank you. Thank you. And so it was just when I got that message, I was just like,
Oh,
like all week, and just like, well, I'm not the best at. These people be talking about me, and this happened. It's like it's so inconsequential, and when you big picture of like God is using what I'm doing, regardless of whether I feel how like imperfect it is, or I can always be better or do better. It when you realize that it's not even about you. So it's just so enlightening, and it really causes you to regain your perspective on how God can use in the midst of everything else that's going on, even in the midst of just well, I just started doing this. I'm not even that deep into it. These other people can do it better than me. Who cares? Like, it's really a blessing in doing what to do, because he's always going to put his blessing and breathe on what you do when you do it for the right reasons. And so I was really relieved to find that out. And that would be my encouragement to other creatives that, especially if you love God and you try to increase your faith in whatever it is that you do, don't forget the
mhm,
reason why you're doing it. If it's not necessarily to win people to Christ, but it's still to like be impactful and help people in other ways. Don't forget about why you wanted to help other people in the first place, especially if they're dealing with some of the same things that you dealt with. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk about the origin story today, because I feel like a lot of the things that we're called to do is because we're usually called to pull the place that we were once in. So that I mean that's it for
yes.
today. The main thing that and so if anybody has anything else they want to share, but I mean we talked about so much, but yeah.
We did. We did, dearest. But you know what? What I just took from that, you're right. And I don't know if I've just publicly said it, but maybe I'm going to say it now, and it's okay. It's the 1st of February, and I said February was going to be a different month for me as far as coming out more with my affirmations. So aside from like low self-esteem, I've dealt with rejection and rejection issues. Okay, and I think maybe that's probably why I've had the low self esteem or self worth. Sometimes we use those words interchangeably, but so for me, those affirmations have pulled me out of the valleys of rejection. So for anybody listening, whether you are creative or not, you can recover from rejection. And oftentimes I'm learning that rejection is just redirection.
Mm.
And it's not a definition of who you are, of your self-worth. And don't stay in that rejection, and so you know affirm yourself out of it. And so I hope to continue to bring more affirmations to you all. So if anyone's dealing with rejection, I think that that may be. Sometimes people always say, "We have to find your niche," but I really didn't want to box in affirmations and what they can do for women. But I may start there, and I'm putting her on the spot here. But Darian, I may have you help me try to really cultivate this. Truly, and I'm saying it on live now, but to cultivate it in a way and start there because I've gone through many other things and I know affirmations can help in all areas. But maybe the first topic for me is rejection because I
Mm-hmm.
know it all too well.
Yeah.
Whether it was from a school that I applied to, whether it was me telling my family members, "Hey, this is a dream or a goal of mine. What do you think?" And maybe they rejected it, but it caused me to not want to pursue it, or a relationship, right? Being rejected from someone that you really care about. So many ways that rejection can, or friends even, so many ways where rejection has played in my life, but I've used those affirmations to affirm myself out of those. So, yeah, that kind of felt something lift off of me. I don't know, but that's you have to be vulnerable and speak your truth. And I'm learning that, and it's true. The truth will set you free. So, hey.
Mm-hmm.
You're right,
No,
and
that's good stuff.
we definitely do have to get together on that. Dearest, yeah, that is so deep. That right there, I know that had to. I don't know if you melted, but like you read that, I was like, okay, you
I
can't cry
melted
on live.
already, so I don't have to remelt
You
camera.
can't cry on
So
live. Like you did me dirty.
no, can't do it.
Me hear that before, cause man, that is like I would be just sitting there stuck. Like wow, like I would have to
Mm.
absorb that. That's actually amazing.
I had chill
And
But
bumps
let me say this
yeah,
quick.
listening.
I'm gonna let you finish. But you're assigned, guys, when you start out doing whatever it is that you're doing. It could be one person, and that's what that message taught. It could literally be that one person that you don't realize they're waiting on you. It's not been a lot lately. That one person, maybe the handful of people, they're waiting on you. Nobody else has that blessing that they need but you. And you hold yourself back because of little insignificant stuff. I've been there with the rejection thing, self esteem thing. I've been there with the lack of confidence thing. I've been through all of it and not realizing I held my own self back. But when I got out of my own way and allowed God to have his way, that's when you realize you're able to touch and impact people in ways you never knew was possible. But it's possible through God. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop now.
Are you? Because
cause
okay.
look, keep going, cause I was
Yeah.
literally like, um, what you said was like even through it's not about you. So what you're doing, if it's on your heart, I mean, God put it there because He does give us the desires of our heart. So if you have a desire to do something, it's for His glory and for what for you is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I earlier, but like I mean, it was insecurities, feeling like I needed permission, but it was also if I'm in life where I feel like it's a bad, you go through the hills, you go through the valleys, and if it's in during the valley time, a lot of times I would literally shut myself off from the world, curl up in a ball, and like any like my business or friendships, uh,
Mm-hmm.
actually that I love, because I was going through something bad. But you're right, like it's not about you. So
Your sound is cutting out. Maybe it's just me.
um, that gives me more motivation to keep going. Like it's not about you. If you can hear me, yeah, it's about friends. One thing that I've learned is when I get to a low like that, like if I feel really low, go into the corner and cry or whatever, um, I'll start to help somebody else, like in whatever way I can, because I've learned and the best I don't know why. Know that when you do that, I'm not saying give away your last coins or anything like that, but hey, give somebody a compliment or tell what you,
Mm,
yeah, give somebody a compliment or open up the door for somebody that's coming inside the grocery store after you. A little thing, be little thing, big or small. So that spirit is like makes me have like a better day. So that is that's my little thing that I got from Deers is like, yeah, it's not about you, and that makes so much sense because now I just automatically when I let me go and give this lady a compliment about her hair. Let me go do this. Let me go pick up that lady's groceries. Like, let me do something for somebody else because it always lifts me up. And let me continue working on my business because this is gonna help them. It's not for me, you know. So that's really awesome to think
hmm.
about it like that.
That's awesome. It's been good. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
Every time we get together, it's good.
I know.
Love it.
Yes.
I know. And to not stop,
Learning.
if anyone's listening, don't stop. And if obstacles come your way, I think when you're like onto something. And so for us, I don't know what God is doing, but I know God is onto something with this podcast and all of our gifts. And so find a way. And if just keep trying. We're coming to you live now. We're all in three, different places, but I think that passion is driving us to say, you know what, it's iced over here in Dallas. So, we're like, we're not going to stop. We have a momentum. God is doing something. God is multiplying this. And we're
Yes.
literally putting great energy behind this. And I know, our three different perspectives, we're helping someone or lots of someone's, right? And I'm speaking it that it will continue to grow. So just also don't let anything stop you.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Love you, ladies, to life. It's been great. I really do pray that everybody that's supposed to hear this podcast hears it and is blessed by it. And I'm gonna go ahead and pray us out on that note. Father God, we come to you today and we ask that even as we continue to move in our gifts, in our various areas, you continue to put people in our path that we're meant to touch. Whoever it is we're supposed to pray for, whoever it is we're supposed to give services to, whoever it is that we're supposed to impact, God, let the message that we have for them from you be able to reach them in Jesus' name. Chance occurrences, running into people, and just realizing that we have something to sow into them. God, give us those eyes to see clearly who needs what we do, who needs the impact that we have. And so, even now, I ask that you would touch each of these ladies, everything that they're going through in their personal lives, that be something that they can lay their burdens down with you and then know that there's something that you're trying to bring out of them even in the times of pressure, even the times of stress and frustration. There's something that God is continually working in us and working out of us. So I ask that each of these ladies continue to be blessed in their various business, various ventures, and continue be all that God has called them to be, regardless of whatever seeds the enemy tries to plant to cause us to think less of ourselves, to insecurity. Each lady, each person that's listening to this podcast, you're valued, you're loved, you are created to be everything that God called you to be, and you have the power to walk in that. And we speak it right now in Jesus' name, and we pray that blessing on everyone that participates in and hears this podcast in Jesus' name.
Jesus' name.
amen.
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 All righty then. I appreciate you guys for doing this with me, and this is good stuff. We might have to split this into two
Yes.
episodes because this is
Yes.
a this is a good little amount of talking we did. So,
Yes.
Yes.
uh, All right,
Yeah.
guys. I'll holler at you later.